You got to see I'm carrying this. You got to see the season.
You ready, Sandra?
No, I'm not. I'm not ready yet. The judge ready for me? I'm not ready. I can open it.
Then we can wait till you can. Or you'll go and challenge it?
I'll come around that
Oh,
way.
okay.
He's going to be in playing with somebody shot.
He's got it. Yeah, I seen it earlier, but that's what they should do. Is this what we have? Is this what we have? Why don't we just go on like that?
Let me see if there's one. So, is there a chair back here?
She sits right here. I don't think it's okay.
Yes. I'm gonna put one right here by her. By here, that way she could get there and then he can go ahead. Okay, give me your numbers.
All rise.
Bringing out the jury as we speak.
Okay.
Morning, you may be seated. See you on next year. And go, sir. I'll go there. Okay, Mr. Little, before you take the stand there, I need to swear you and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth of the penalty of law?
Yes, sir.
Well, take a seat. You get that microphone and speak up loud.
Do we need to? Just get situated here. Ms. Littles, good morning.
Good morning.
You're going to have to speak up because we have a person who's court reporter, and we need to have the ladies and gentlemen of the jury be able to listen to you. Is that
Just real close. There you go.
okay? Okay, can you please state your full name and spell both your first and last name?
Tabitha Littles, Tabitha Littles.
Okay, Ms. Littles. And Ms. Littles, you are currently in the custody of the Department of Corrections, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you are here today you've entered into a plea and disposition agreement, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I'll get to that in a little while. Also, Ms. Littles, you have been granted by the court use immunity. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, sitting behind you also is who?
My lawyer, Barry Porter.
Okay. And so let me start a little bit. How old are you, Miss Littles?
I'm 32.
Okay. And I'm going to refer to March of 2015. Do you recall where you were at? The month of March of the year 2015.
In Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay. Where were you living?
I was still living at my mom's.
Okay. And Miss Littles, do you have any children?
Yes, sir.
What are your children? How old are your children? I'm sorry.
14 years old and 6 years old.
Okay. And were you living with your mom at the time with your children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, were you employed at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where were you employed at?
At the Quality Inn in Albuquerque.
And where is the Quality Inn located, specifically in Albuquerque?
University of Minot.
And how long had you been working at the Quality Inn?
About a year and 3 months.
Okay. And what were you doing there?
I was a breakfast attendant.
Okay. And as a breakfast attendant, what were your responsibilities?
I was in charge of getting breakfast in order in the morning, making sure the breakfast stayed stocked throughout the hours for the open breakfast. Afterwards, I had to clean up and put everything away.
Okay. And did you have you were working early morning hours? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said that you'd been working there about over a year? Now, at some point after March of 2015, did you have occasion to come in contact with an individual by the name of Andrew Romero?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Mr. Romero present in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the court and the jury what he's wearing?
He's wearing a dark gray shirt with the black striped tie.
Okay. And can you let the record reflect you identify the defendant, Your Honor? Now, Ms. Littles, can you tell us, the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how you met Mr. Romero?
I met him through his cousin, Crystal Romero.
Okay. And where had you met Crystal Romero?
I knew her from when I was incarcerated.
Okay. And to your knowledge, is there a relationship between Crystal Romero and Andrew Romero?
Yes, sir. They're cousins.
Okay. And can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how that occurred, how you actually came in contact with him?
I was just hanging out with Crystal, and Andrew happened to show up over there.
At where, when you say over there?
I think at that time we were at the motel when I first met him.
Okay. Was Crystal working there at the motel also?
No.
No? Did she have a place there at the motel?
Not at that time, no.
Not at that time? Okay. Now, how can you describe what the relationship was like when you first met Mr. Romero?
He was nice, respectful.
Anything else? Okay. Now, did the relationship become was it just an acquaintance with Mr. Romero? Like you were friends at this point?
No, I think it was more like it progressed fast. When we started hanging out, it progressed fast into a relationship.
Okay. And by a relationship, can you indicate entailed? I mean, were you guys living together?
We were living together in my truck.
But back when you were working at the Quality Inn, how...
He did stay with me when I had a room over there, because I was living over there.
Okay. At some point, did you said that you were living with your mom.
Yes.
At some point, did you stop living with your mom?
Yes.
And what happened? Why did you stop living with your mom?
My mom kicked me out of the house because I pursued my relationship with Andrew.
Okay. So it's a fair statement to say that your mom didn't approve of Andrew.
Yes.
Now, so after you left your house, your mom's house, where did you live?
My boss at the motel, she gave me a room to stay in since I worked there. She didn't charge me no rent as long as I continued to work. And so I was living there. Andrew staying with me.
Okay. What about your children?
My children stayed with my mom.
Okay.
But there were a couple times that my mom had to go out of town and my babies had to stay with me.
All right. Now, during that period of time, were you having to report to anybody?
Yes, sir. I was on supervised parole and probation.
Okay. And part of your probation and parole, were you to report in and meet with somebody?
Yes, my parole officer.
Okay. And some of the conditions that you had on probation and parole, what were they?
I had to take random UAs. I had to either be working or going to school. I had to continue my counseling with AANA. I had to complete parenting classes. I had to complete a substance abuse group and community service.
Okay. And that was still going on in March of 2015?
Yes, I was still reporting.
Okay. Now, at some point, Ms. Littles, did you stop reporting to your probation office?
No, sir.
No? At some point during that time, did you begin using drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what type of drugs and what was going on?
I started using methamphetamines.
Okay. And were you using while you were at the motel?
Yes.
Okay. And was Andrew around?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was Andrew Romero using drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what type of drugs was he using?
Heroin and meth.
Okay. Now, is there a particular, when you say heroin and meth, was it separate or was it in conjunction together?
Sometimes it was together, sometimes it was separate.
Okay. And what do you call it when they use it together?
A speedball.
Okay. Now, methamphetamine you were using, Ms. Littles, were you injecting or smoking?
I was smoking it.
Okay. And what about Mr. Romero? Was he injecting or smoking meth?
He was both.
Okay. So he was both injecting and smoking meth.
Yes, sir.
What about heroin?
No, he would just inject it.
Okay, heroin he would just inject?
Mm.
Okay. Now, approximately how much did you start using?
At first when I relapsed, it just started out to be like a couple bowls I would smoke. And then eventually it progressed to about a gram or if not more a day.
Okay, for those who may not know, how much, I mean, when you're talking about, grams, etc., what's the street value of these drugs?
For a gram is $50.
Okay.
Sometimes $60.
Okay. And at any point while you were with Andrew, was Mr. Romero working at all?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, approximately how much usage per day, Ms. Littles, were you using? I mean, when you talk about quantity, I mean, you talk about grams. You said you first started out with smoking a couple of bowls, which would have been about how much?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And approximately how much, as the time continued from March, when you first relapsed, to May 25th of 2015, how much were you using?
I'm not exactly sure, but it increased rapidly.
Okay. And did that include also Mr. Romero's usage?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you were staying with your mom, did an incident occur there that caused some of it to escalate for you to be kicked out of the house?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
One evening, I was driving, me and Andrew were driving to my house. He was following me, but he went a different route, and his truck got stuck in the mesa at the end of the cul-de-sac where my mom's house is at. We couldn't get the truck out. And so the neighbors had called the cops, and the cops got the truck out. And Andrew blamed my mom for that. So one day when my mom and nobody was at the house,
Objection, relevance.
You're just setting up the stage of the relationship.
Overruled. Let me continue.
okay, me and Andrew, we went to my mom's to take a shower, of course, and get ready, you know. Later on that day, Andrew had went back to the house by himself when my sister was there. Took her pizza, went inside, took my mom's TV from her room, and left.
Okay. Now, you said you had a sister.
Yes,
How
sir.
old is your sister?
She's 33.
Okay. And does she have a disability?
Yes.
Okay, and what type of disability?
I'm not exactly sure what her disability is called.
Okay. Is it physical, mental, psychological, anything?
Mental?
Okay. Was your sister there by herself when that occurred?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you indicated that, you know, your mom had kicked you out, and you were now living at the Quality Inn. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
At some point, did you stop living at the Quality Inn?
Yes, sir.
What occurred there?
My youngest daughter's dad, when he found out that I started seeing Andrew, he started giving me problems. He would go to my work. The day that I got fired from my job, he had went in there acting out. So when my boss told me that I had to get my stuff and leave the motel, after that I was homeless. I couldn't go back to my mom's because I was still in my relationship with Andrew, and I wasn't, and no part of my mind was planning on leaving him.
Okay. Why was that? Can you explain to the jury why you would stay with Andrew?
Because I cared about him.
Do you know if Andrew cared about you?
I'm not sure. He said he did.
Now, talking about, so you're out of the motel, correct? And you said you're homeless. Where are you staying at?
At random people's houses.
Okay.
Mostly his aunties. We said his aunties a lot.
Okay, who is his auntie?
Angel Romero.
Okay. And does his auntie have at the time of 2015, did she have somebody in her life, a relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what his name was?
I'm not sure what his full name was.
What, do you know any name?
It was either Stretch or Slim, one of them.
And so you were staying with them, correct? Were you both doing drugs at the time?
Yes, sir.
And again, how often were you doing drugs?
All day, every day.
Did you stay anywhere else other than his auntie?
If we had enough money, we would get a room, or like we stayed at other friends' house, like for the night or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever stay at Crystal's?
I did one time.
Okay. Did Crystal have a partner?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that person's name?
Michelle Candelaria.
Candelaria. Let me show you what's been admitted as 289. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, sir.
And who is that?
That's Michelle Candelaria.
Okay. Let's see, I've got a picture. And how would you, I thought I had another picture here. 288. Is this the same Michelle Candelaria?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Approximately how tall is Miss Candelaria? Tall as you, or?
I'm 5'4". She's a little bit taller than me.
Okay. And how big is she? I mean, weight-wise?
She's pretty hefty.
Okay. About-
Maybe she's bigger than me, and I weigh like 192 right now. So she's probably in like the 200s.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you were living out of the Durango also. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, where did you have all of your clothes?
In bags in the back of my Durango.
Okay. Was Andrew living with you in the back of the Durango?
Yes, sir.
And where were you guys park?
We would basically just... Sometimes we would just park. We never really slept in the car. We never slept in the car.
Okay.
But like throughout the day, like we would park at random places and get high.
Okay. And when you say get high, you would smoke methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
And he would either do heroin, meth, or both at the same time?
Yes, sir.
And was that pretty much a day-to-day situation?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me just... trying to get the front one. What type of vehicle did you have, Miss Littles?
I had a Dodge Durango.
Okay. Let me show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 167. Can you do you recognize that?
Yes, sir. That's my truck.
Okay. And was that the vehicle that you were using in 2015?
Yes, sir.
Now, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you got the vehicle, first of all.
The vehicle, it was my mom's. When I got out of prison, my mom gave me the vehicle so I could get to my appointments and get to my counselings that I needed to attend. and so I could transport my kids to and from school, and my mom gave me that vehicle.
Okay. There's been photographs here that, and you had all of your clothes and stuff in the back of that vehicle, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, during the time of March, well, approximately when did you, do you remember the date you got the vehicle from your mom?
When I got out of prison in February of 2014.
Okay. Okay, so you've had it since that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you try to register it, get the title to it?
Yes. It was in May of 2015. My mom had signed over her the original her title to the Durango. At that time, me and Andrew went to the DMV, and we got the title switched over to my name. We got the original title that was in my mom's name. We got it transferred over to a title in my name, but I never got it registered at that time.
Okay. Let me show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 183. I hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see it very well. It has a date at the bottom. Can you identify it first of all?
That's the receipt from the DMV where I got, when I went to go get it, the title over into my name.
Okay. And it has a date at the bottom of that over here in this area. What is that date?
May 19th, 2015.
And you indicated, Ms. Littles, that Andrew went with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did anybody else go with you?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, so you basically didn't change over the registration, and therefore, were the plates good on the vehicle?
The plate that was on the SUV was the plate that was registered in my mom's name.
Now, did you have insurance on the vehicle?
No.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Me too. I'm trying. So,
Mr. Lopez, the last question you asked was, did you have insurance on the vehicle? And I'm sorry I didn't get the answer.
No. Yes.
now, Ms. Littles, you're living in the back. You and Andrew, I'm assuming, are living in the, or staying during the day in your Durango, right?
Yes, sir.
And from your testimony, you guys are staying from place to place. His relatives, friends, things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
So you would say that Mr. Romero had friends and family that helped him along the way.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're going through a lot of drugs, I'm assuming. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You don't have a job, and Mr. Romero doesn't have a job. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, drugs weren't free. How are you and Mr. Romero supporting your habit?
We would commit some robberies
Okay.
to get money.
Okay. And when you talk about robberies, are you talking just robberies or armed robberies?
Armed robberies.
And let me ask you, Ms. Littles, how many robberies, armed robberies I should say, did you and Andrew commit from the time you started actually being with him to May 25th of 2015, Memorial Day? How many did you and Andrew do?
I'm not exactly sure of the number.
Now let me ask you, I'm going to read you some and see if it refreshes your recollection on some. Did you and Mr. Romero commit an armed robbery at Little Caesars on Isleta and Rio Bravo?
Yes.
Okay. Mickey D's, I guess that's McDonald's, at Unser and Arenal?
Yes, sir.
Burger King on Isleta and Rio Bravo?
Yes, sir.
Long John's on Isleta and Rio Bravo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The Subway on Coors and Rio Bravo? You attempted there, or?
If I could go back, we attempted at the Long John Silver's, but it didn't happen. But we attempted it.
The Family Dollar on Louisiana and Gibson,
Yes, sir.
and KFC on Taco Bell on Gibson and San Mateo.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll go back a little bit. All of these robberies, these armed robberies, who chose the place between you and Mr. Romero to rob these places?
Andrew always chose the places.
Okay. And what was your role in these armed robberies?
I waited in the car to
You were the
getaway driver.
getaway driver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, during that time, were you supplementing your income from March to May? Were you supplementing your income any other way to support your drug habit?
No.
Were you selling any drugs?
Yes, sir. I was selling drugs.
Okay. Was Mr. Romero with you when you were selling drugs?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was the normal procedure on how you would approach any of these businesses? What was your procedure on all of these armed robberies? The general procedure. How you committed the crimes.
We would drive and Andrew would stay at a place if it was busy or not. Sometimes we would park and just watch for a little bit. And if it seemed right, I would go, pull up, he would get out, he would go in. Most of the time I waited right outside the door that he would go in. Or I would drive up just a little bit out of the way and he would walk up to the truck and get in. And when he'd get in, he would tell me which way to go. And then we would take off.
Now, I'm going to refer you to the date of May 25th, 2015. It was Memorial Day. Do you recall that date?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you start telling the jury how that day started early in the morning.
That morning we got up. That morning we got ready. We got ready. We were at his auntie's house. When his auntie, we were there getting high, getting ready. When we left from over there, we left to go to pick up my friend. She was at a halfway house then. Went to go pick her up to drop her off at work. We dropped her off at work. And we needed money, so we went to the Taco Bell and KFC over there on Gibson off of San Mateo. Andrew went inside. I waited outside. He came out. We drove off.
So are you talking about the KFC Taco Bell?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And where was that located?
On Gibson off of San Mateo.
Okay. And let me go back a little bit. And during your time with Andrew, did he own a handgun?
Yes, sir.
And what type of handgun did he have?
It was a black Beretta.
Okay. Do you recall the caliber of the Beretta?
9mm.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked at admitted as State Exhibit 306. Picture of the Taco Bell on the corner. Do you recognize that vehicle right there?
Yes, sir. That's my vehicle.
Okay. And who is this?
That's Andrew.
Okay. And that is the KFC Taco Bell armed robbery that you talked about just a minute ago?
Yes, sir.
And I show you what's been admitted as 307. Do you recognize this individual here?
Yes, sir.
And who is that?
That's Andrew.
Okay. That's the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let the record reflect that she's identified the defendant as the individual, Your Honor. And State's Exhibit 308. What does that picture depict?
Andrew running around to the passenger side.
Is this after
Yes.
exiting the store?
Yes, sir.
Or the eating place? Are you in that vehicle, Ms. Littles?
Yes, sir. I'm in the driver's seat.
Do you remember what time that occurred?
No, sir, I don't.
Was it in the afternoon, after the noon hour?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was after the noon hour.
After the noon hour?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and that was on May 25th, 2015, correct?
Yes, sir.
Memorial Day. Let me ask you again. Looking at State's Exhibit 306, that's the Durango, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was there anybody else with you in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Okay. You were the only person driving in the driver's seat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's when you entered, when you got there. When you left the establishment, was there anybody else with you?
No, sir.
Is it fair to say that it was just you and Andrew?
Yes, sir.
So what did you do after you left the Taco Bell KFC?
I went and Took him to his auntie's house so he can meet his connect.
Okay.
I went to go meet my connect.
At any point, did you count the money?
I never counted the money ever personally.
Okay. Now, you indicated also that Andrew owned the Beretta 9mm, is that right?
Yes,
Black?
sir.
Did you own any handguns, Ms. Little?
No, sir.
Okay. So, you said you never counted the money. Did Andrew give you some money that day after the armed robbery?
Yes, sir.
Now, you said he went to his connect.
I dropped him off at his auntie's so he could meet his connect.
So he was meeting his connect at his auntie's house.
Yes.
Okay. And you went to yours.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At some point, what did you get?
I bought some meth.
Okay. Did you end up getting back together?
Yes. After I went to my connect's house, she's one of my friends. I stayed there for a little bit, and then I left from over there, and I went back to Andrew's auntie's house.
Okay. And what did you do at Andrew's auntie's house?
I went inside, and I gave his auntie a little bit of meth. Andrew was fixing. I smoked some meth in there. And then when Andrew got done, me, Andrew, and his auntie, we left to go to Old Town, or drive towards Old Town to go pick up his auntie's boyfriend.
Okay. At any point during this time, Ms. Littles, did Andrew drive the vehicle?
Yes.
The Durango?
Yes, he drove when me, Andrew, and his auntie left from his auntie's house.
Right.
To drive towards Old Town to pick up his auntie's boyfriend. Andrew was driving.
Okay, who was situated where?
Andrew was in the driver's seat, I was in the passenger seat, and his auntie was in the back seat.
Okay. And you went to go pick up his auntie's boyfriend?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this was after fixing, what's fixing?
He injected heroin.
Okay. So he was able to drive to pick up his auntie's friend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that unusual after Andrew fixed that he was able to drive?
No.
Can you describe how he acted after fixing?
Depending on how much heroin he did, most of the time he would, a lot of the times he would be able to function, but there was sometimes that he would just not out for a while.
Okay. And heroin is a downer, basically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and you, Miss Littles, how did you function when you were on meth?
I was pretty coherent to everything.
Okay. Now, you left to go pick up Andrew's auntie's friend. Where did you go again? I'm sorry.
Towards Old Town.
Okay.
And he was walking back towards the apartment, so we just picked him up.
And where did his auntie live? Andrew's live?
On 14th on 14th Street, right off of Lomas.
Okay. How far would that have been to drive?
I'm not sure.
How long would it take you?
Not even between 5 to 10 minutes.
Now, did you pick up his auntie's friend?
Yes.
Okay. And what'd you do after that?
We were driving back to his auntie's apartment to drop them off. We pulled up in the back of the apartment. Me and his auntie got into an altercation.
By an altercation, what do you mean?
We got in a fist fight.
Okay. What was the fist fight about?
She had made a comment saying that, because the night before I had took his auntie's boyfriend to go, I'd give him a ride, and I told Andrew that I didn't want to go with just him because I already know how his auntie would trip. So his auntie was like, no, it's okay, go. So I ended up giving his auntie's friend a ride. And when we went back, nothing was said or whatever. So that day when we were in the back of his auntie's apartments, his auntie had made a comment saying that I slept with her, but I slept with her man.
Okay.
And after that, I just got into a fist fight.
Okay. Was this in the Durango?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is while you were headed back to her auntie's house?
We were already parked in the back of the apartments.
What happened after you got into a fight?
Him and his auntie got out. No, his auntie and his auntie's friend got out. Me and Andrew took off.
Okay. Now, show you something here and find it. Did you sustain any injuries because of the fight?
Yes, I had scratches all over my face.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 279. This is a picture of you. Where was that picture taken, first of all?
In the emergency room?
Okay. On May 25th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do these depict the injuries you had sustained because of the fight?
Yes, sir.
Now, after getting into the fist fight with the auntie, and you and Andrew left, right?
Yes, sir.
Was anybody else with you?
No, sir.
Okay, it was just you and Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where did you go?
When we left from his auntie's house, I had Andrew drive me over there to the Hacienda restaurant in Old Town, where my friend works at. I went in, Andrew, he waited outside. I went inside, and I asked her for some gas money and a cigarette, and she gave me the gas money and cigarette, and then I came out and got back in the vehicle, and then me and Andrew took off.
Where did you head off to?
We needed to go put some gas because we didn't hardly have any, so with that $5 we used it for gas. We headed off to it's a halfway house called the Dismiss House. We went over there because while I was inside at the restaurant, my friend had informed me that one of the girls there wanted to buy some meth, and I had the amount that she needed, so I went over there and I sold it to her.
Okay. And was Andrew with you when you went?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, had you told him what you were going to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after going to the halfway house, did you take off anywhere else after that?
Yes.
Okay, where did you go?
We started driving. We drove over there in the Sandia reservation over there by this casino for a little while.
What were you doing there?
Getting high, driving around, getting high, thinking about what we're gonna do.
Okay. What was the conversation? What were you thinking about?
That we didn't have nowhere to stay. We needed money, and we were gonna go look for a place so we could hit.
And by hit, you mean rob?
Rob, yes.
Now, at the time that you left your auntie's, who was driving?
Andrew was driving.
Okay. And were you aware whether Andrew had the black Beretta 9mm with him?
Yes, sir, he did.
Now, had you seen Andrew with that gun a lot?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe Andrew's possession of it? I mean, did he have it with him all the time?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay. Now, were you aware whether or not it was loaded at all?
I always kept it loaded.
Okay. And by always kept it loaded with a magazine, a magazine in a clip.
Clip, yes.
Now, you said that Andrew was driving, you were driving around in the Sandia area getting high.
Right.
What were you smoking?
I was smoking meth.
And what was Andrew doing?
He was smoking meth with me at that time.
Okay. And at any point, so you were planning to figure out where to hit. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you plan were you headed to a particular location?
Andrew said that we're gonna go try Rio Rancho.
Okay. Why Rio Rancho?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You just went along?
Yes.
Why'd you go along, Miss Littles?
So I was getting high. I didn't care. As long as I had drugs and I was getting high.
Okay. Now, you head to Rio Rancho, and what was the purpose of coming to Rio Rancho?
To stake out a place that we could hit, to rob.
Okay. Now, on the way to Rio Rancho, were you guys still getting high?
Yes.
Was there any, was it just methamphetamine or was heroin involved at any point?
No, at that time we were just doing meth.
Okay.
Smoking the bubble.
Okay. So you decide to come to Rio Rancho, or go to Rio Rancho, I should say. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened when you got into Rio Rancho.
Okay. When we got into Rio Rancho, we had stopped at this gas station, so we could put some gas, buy some things. I went inside. We pulled up at the gas pump. I was the one who got out of the car and went inside. Andrew stayed out at the car, and when I went inside, I bought what I bought. When I came out, Andrew had said that he wanted me to drive because he got freaked out because there's police driving by. So I was like, all right. So I got in. I gave him my Cheetos. I gave him the drink and stuff, you know. And then we were driving. We pulled out of the gas station onto Southern. We started driving west on Southern. We were passing the Twisters and it didn't look busy, so we were.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
We were driving west on Southern, and we were passing Twisters and it didn't look busy, so we were planning on hitting that.
Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 300 and 301. Excuse me, I'm sorry. First 300. Is that you, Miss Littles?
Yes, sir, that's
Okay.
me.
And that's you entering into the Valero?
Yes, sir.
And this is you exiting the Valero?
Yes, sir.
Now, you indicated that excuse me, oh yeah. You went in and paid for gas. And Andrew stayed at the pumps?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall what pump he was at?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, you exited the Valero, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you exited onto Southern, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what's been what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 445. Okay, let me just try this one first. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully, oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. Okay. Is this the Valero station that you're talking about, Miss?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is the Twisters that you were
Yes, sir.
talking about? Okay. When you exited, did you exit on right here at Southern?
Yes. Out of the gas station and west on Southern. I
Okay.
started driving.
So, and let me show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 298. Does that show the exit onto Southern that you would have exited out of in the Durango?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you got back to the Durango after paying for the gas, and Andrew kind of, you indicated he became paranoid, spooked, or what?
Yeah, he just got nervous. He was
Okay.
nervous
Okay, and why did he get nervous?
because there was a lot of cops out driving that night.
Okay. And did Andrew continue to drive?
No.
Okay. What happened there?
When we left the gas station, I pulled out onto Southern.
How did you get to drive? What, was it you're on your own?
No, Andrew said that he wanted for me to drive because he didn't want to drive.
Okay. Now, you said you pulled onto Southern and you headed west. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you talked about, you said, we decided to hit Twisters. Who decided?
Andrew.
Okay. And again, on State's Exhibit 445, you're talking about this Twisters right in the same block, I guess, of the Valero.
Yes, sir.
Now, you drive all the way up Southern, which is headed west. Is that right?
West.
Okay. You're driving, what did you do? You got onto Southern, you were headed west. Tell them what happened.
I was going west on Southern towards Unser. I wasn't driving at a fast pace. I was driving out of the speed limit. Basically, I was driving at speed limit so that way we could check and make sure that, or just to check if the restaurant was busy or if it had a lot of people in it. At that time, Andrew's like, that's probably where we're gonna hit. So I kept driving. I went all the way up to Unser, past the light. I made a U-turn. We started heading back down. We started heading back east on Southern. I was in the outer lane. Next thing I know, Andrew tells me that there's a police SUV in the middle lane, well, behind us, and I glanced and it was in the middle of the lane. So I just continued driving. The next thing I know, the officer turns his lights on to pull us over. I pull over into the...
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Before we go on any further, Ms. Littles, I forgot one question. When you entered the Valero station, did somebody wait on you?
Yes.
Can you just, who was that? You can describe it.
She was a older white lady with blonde hair.
Okay. Now, when you turn around and you're coming down, you said that you went to Rio Rancho and you had been doing drugs. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where were the drugs located in the vehicle? Where were they being kept?
I kept my meth. At that time, my meth was, normally I always have it in my bra. At that time, I had it out in the little cup holder.
Okay. In the console? Or in the side?
No, in the middle console.
Okay. And did Andrew have drugs with him?
Yes,
Okay. What did he have?
heroin.
Okay. Did he have any other... now, when you inject heroin or you do heroin, there has to be some apparatus to inject. Is that right? You're going to have to answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did Andrew have his drug paraphernalia with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And where did he have it at?
He had his cooker like in the middle console.
Okay. When you talk about a cooker, what are we talking about?
The bottom of a aluminum can, like a soda can, cut, and it's the bottom that they use to put the heroin, and they cook it like that.
Okay. It's almost like the very bottom part
Of the Coke
can.
can, yeah.
Okay. And you indicated again, where did he have it at?
In the middle console.
Okay. So while you're going down Southern, now headed. Well, let me just show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 259. Are we talking about that being the cooker?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recognize those?
Yes. That pink thing's my pipe.
Okay. And this?
That's a rubber to tie your arm.
Okay. And the Q-tips, what are they used for?
Cleaning my pipe.
Okay. So the pink pipe is yours?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so you're going down Southern, you're headed east now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason you came back into Rio Rancho, because it's kind of coming back into Rio Rancho, is that right? You're going to have to answer that.
Yes, sir.
Is because you were going to target twisters.
Yes, sir.
Now, you see the police car, you said that he turns his lights on. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What did you do? Let me go back to that.
I pulled over
Okay.
into the shopping center right there by the Arby's.
Okay. Did Andrew tell you anything for getting pulled over?
No.
He didn't say nothing?
I was like, what do I do? He's like, pull over.
Okay. And so at any point was he upset with you about getting pulled over?
No. Not at that time.
Okay, not at that time. Did he get it at some point?
No, but I could just tell. He didn't tell me nothing, but I just know.
Okay. Now, what happened when you pulled over?
Officer Benner, he walked up to my driver's side.
Mm-hmm.
He asked for my license, registration, and insurance.
Okay, and did you give him your license?
I gave him my license, yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 169. That's your Durango, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that Officer Benner came up to you on the driver's side?
Yes, sir.
Was your window rolled up or down when Officer Benner talked to you?
Down.
Okay. So he had a clear, there was no obstructions.
No.
It was you. He observed Andrew, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Where was Andrew located?
In the passenger seat?
Was there anybody else in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Now, how would you describe to the jury how Officer Benner's demeanor was to you?
When he walked up to the vehicle, he wasn't rude. He was nothing but respectful. He wasn't mean in any way.
Now, when he asked you for your driver's license, what did you do?
I gave him my driver's license.
Okay. And you had a valid driver's license, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I would assume he asked you for the vehicle's registration?
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
At the time, he got my driver's license when I handed it to him, and he asked Andrew for his information.
Okay. And what did Andrew tell him?
Andrew,
Is that part of your point, Your Honor?
Andrew gave him a name of Albert.
Okay. And did he give him a date of birth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What did Officer Benner do after getting that?
Okay. He got,
Excuse me. Did Andrew use a last name?
yes, but I don't recall what it was.
Do you recall what it started with?
F.
Okay. Now, so he gives him the information. Officer Benner's very nice to you. He's very respectful, very courteous to you. What do you guys do? What does he do?
Okay. He went back to his truck to run her name. Well, before he went back to his truck after giving him the information, he was like, all right, just hold tight. So when he went back to his SUV, he wasn't gone that long. He came back, he walked back up to my window. He's like, Miss Littles, you know you're not supposed to be out of the county. And he said, he started saying, where did you get the license plate? Because it doesn't belong to the truck. And I was trying to explain to him at the time that I had just got the title switched over into my name, and I haven't got it registered. But Andrew pulled out papers that we had in the glove box that had my mom's name on it still, showing that the license plate was registered to the vehicle, and it wasn't just some random license plate. I had called my mom, and I told my mom if she could talk to him and explain to him, but he's like, you're a grown woman, I don't need to talk to your mom. And so I hung up the phone.
Let me stop you right there, Ms. Littles. Let me hand you what's been submitted as State's Exhibit 110. You said that Andrew had handed the officer some information that appeared to have the VIN number of the vehicle?
Yes.
And your mom's name on it?
Yes. And the license plate number on it.
Okay. Is that the document? Let me see if I can make it clearer. It's hard to see. I'm trying to... Okay, there we go. Is that the document that was given to Officer Benner?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that pulled out of?
The glove box.
And who pulled it out?
Andrew.
Okay. Now, you said that Andrew gave the name of Albert, and you didn't recall the last name, but it started with an F. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, before that, when the officer stopped you, did he tell you why he stopped you?
Yes, he said the reason I pulled you over is because the license plate isn't coming back to the vehicle.
Okay. Okay. And that's why you were trying to explain, and you were trying to call your mom.
Yes, sir.
Now, you said Officer Benner goes back to his vehicle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What was going on between you and Andrew, if anything?
Nothing. That was the time I was on the phone with my mom trying to explain to her that Officer Benner went back to his vehicle, and that's the time when I got on the phone and called my mom and was trying to explain to her if she could talk to the cop because I got pulled over.
Was Andrew doing anything?
No, at that time he was just, I'm not sure.
Did Andrew have the Beretta with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where was it?
At that time, it was where the passenger seat is in the Durango. It was right there on the underneath the seat on the floor.
Okay. Now, where were you indicated that the drugs were in the council of the officer approach. Was there anything done with the drugs that were stated in the council?
Well, yeah, at that time I had already put the meth in my bra.
Okay. And what about the cooker and heroin and everything else?
Andrew threw that in the middle console.
So it opens up?
Yes.
Okay. And you've thrown it in there?
Yes.
Okay, so the officer comes back and he tells you that you weren't supposed to be in the county.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was he upset with you?
No.
Okay. What did he ask, if anything, to Andrew?
When he came back to the vehicle, after he told me, he's like, you're not supposed to be out of the county. I was like, I know. He said, and he looked at Andrew and he told him, and the information you gave me ain't coming back as nothing. Can I have your information again? Andrew said, I already gave you my fucking information.
Okay. So Andrew responds to him by saying, I already gave you my fucking information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Even though the officer was being,
Objection leading.
was the officer still continuing to be very respectful?
Yes, he was.
Polite? After Andrew said, I gave you my fucking information, what did Officer Benner do?
At that time, he started walking around to the other side of the vehicle.
Okay. And by the other side of the vehicle, where was he headed to?
The front passenger.
Okay. Let me show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 165. Oh, that's your Durango? I'm sorry, I think I'm... Is that the... Oh, I'm sorry, this is up. That's why. Is that the passenger door that Officer Benner approached?
Yes, sir.
Who was sitting in the passenger side?
Andrew.
Okay. You know, these... Now, was the window rolled up or down?
It was rolled up.
Okay. And what was Officer Benner saying?
He told Andrew to step out of the vehicle, to get out of the vehicle.
Okay. Did he try to do anything with the door?
I'm not sure.
Okay, were the doors open or locked?
The doors were locked. They lock automatically.
Okay. And what was Andrew doing while the officer was coming around?
He was turning around in the seat. I said what? I said what do we do? You know?
Okay, when you said what do we do, you were talking to Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay. While the officer was coming around.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was Andrew telling you?
He's like, just drive. So he put the car in drive. He put the car in drive, and I take off. Okay?
Did he tell you to take off?
He was like, drive, bitch.
Okay. Again, I'm sorry.
Drive, bitch.
Okay. And where was the Beretta at that time?
It was... After we had took off, he had pulled it. He had it right here on his...
Okay, you're going to have to kind of explain, because I can't see where you have it. Ms. Rhodes. Can she switch seats, Jody? Thank you.
So, when we drove off, it was right here, on the side of him right here.
Okay, was it near the door?
No, near the middle console.
Middle console? Okay. Well, Officer Benner was coming around. Was Andrew positioning himself in any way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, how that was happening?
He was positioning himself so that way he was facing this way so he could see what was going on. Like, the seat is like this, okay? He was positioning himself, he was turning around.
So what you're saying is he's turned to have his back toward the...
Toward the front of the windshield?
Okay, so he was kind of turning around.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead and sit down, Ms. Littles, thank you. Again, Ms. Littles, anybody else in the vehicle?
No, sir.
Michelle, the one that we saw, Crystal's partner, she wasn't in the vehicle.
No, no, sir.
Okay. Had you seen Michelle all day that day?
No.
Okay. When was the last time you had seen Michelle? Prior to May 25th of 2015?
It was probably a couple weeks because we had a disagreement, me and Crystal.
Okay. So you guys weren't hanging around?
No.
Now, Andrew grabs the steering, the gear shift, which
The
is
gear
a
shift.
top gear shift, I guess you'd
Yes.
say. Yeah. Okay. And he says, "Drive, bitch."
And puts it in drive, and I push the gas.
Okay. What happened? Tell us.
I almost ran into the bush, so he's like, "Fucking watch out," you know. So at that time, Andrew tells me that he's gonna push me out of the vehicle because he doesn't want me to be involved in anything that's about to happen. So the next thing I know, I'm out of the vehicle.
Okay, let's go before that. So as from the time that you take off from Arby's to the time you said that what happened, that Andrew had told you something?
Yes, he said that he did not want me to be involved in anything that was about to happen, and he was going to push me out.
Okay. So he had told you that he was going to push you out, and that the reason being he didn't want you to be involved with what's about to happen.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what occurred after that?
Okay, so I'm out of the vehicle on the ground. Officer Benner, when we went in pursuit, when we left the Arby's, Officer Benner was in pursuit behind us. I got pushed out of the truck. I was on the ground. Officer Benner pulls up. He stops his truck. He jumps out. He runs towards me and he asks me if I'm okay, and I'm like, yes. He doesn't stop. He continues to run towards the SUV, because after Andrew had pushed me out, he drove up a little bit more, and he stopped. At that time, I seen Andrew throwing out my purse, my phone. He was throwing stuff out of the vehicle.
Let me ask you, Ms. Littles. You said that, what did you purchase at the Valero?
I got a bag of hot Cheetos, and I opened them, and I squeezed the cheese for the nachos on top of them. I had got a soda, and gas and some cigarettes.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming that you left the Valero, you were driving. What were you doing with the Cheetos?
Well, I was holding them, eating at the same time.
Okay. Now, when you got stopped,
I gave them to Andrew.
you handed them to Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Okay. While you were getting your license?
No.
Oh, okay.
When I realized that there was a cop in the lane behind us, I handed him my Cheetos.
Okay. Now, so you get thrown out of the vehicle, and the vehicle continues for a little bit more, and Officer Benner comes up, runs up to you, and he tells you anything?
He asks me if I'm okay, and I said yes.
All right. And what does Officer Benner continue to do?
He continues to run up towards the. He continues to run up towards the SUV.
Okay. And prior to that, you were saying that Andrew was doing what?
He was parked there. Well, he was just stopped there, and he was throwing items out of the vehicle.
Okay. Do you know what items he threw out?
I know for sure he threw out my purse and my phone.
Okay. Do you recall if he threw out any Cheetos?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, what happened after Officer Benner passed you and approached Mr. Romero? Andrew.
After Officer Benner passed me, at that time I started to stand up. I see Officer Benner. He gets towards the back of he comes up towards the back door of the SUV.
Okay. Let me show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 171, which is that the side, let me just make sure here. The driver's side of your Durango?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Approximately, if you could kind of stand up and show the jury approximately where Officer Benner got to. Okay. Almost to the rear door, the rear driver's door? Okay, right about right there?
Yeah, about this area.
Okay. When Officer Benner approached you, go ahead, Ms. Lewis, thank you. When Officer Benner approached you, did he have anything in his hands that you noticed?
No.
He didn't have anything?
No.
Okay. What happened? Officer Benner is approaching with nothing in his hands, gets to the rear door. What happens then?
As I'm getting up, as I'm standing up from the ground, I hear 4 shots. It goes boom, 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 boom. I heard 4 shots. One of them bullets entered into I was struck by one of them bullets in my foot. I didn't realize at the time what had happened. I felt a warm sensation in my foot. And as I turned to face the SUV, I see Officer Benner. He was facing me, and the last words that he said was, "What was his name?" And he fell.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 270. You said you got shot in the foot. What foot? Right, left?
Foot.
Your right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you describe where you got shot to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
The bullet entered into where my big toe and the toe next to it combined right there, right underneath it. The bullet went in there and it shattered my foot.
Okay. I'm going to show you again what's been marked as State's Exhibit 270. Does that... Oh, hold on. I'm just going to try to focus it. Hopefully. Is that where the bullet entered into?
Yeah.
You're going to have to answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it didn't enter the... Okay, well... And now, State's Exhibit 271. Is that a closer view?
Yes, sir.
Now, those pictures were taken at the hospital, is that right?
Yes, sir.
The night of March 25th, 2015.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.